Welcome back to the Junkman's Adventures. I'm the Junkman, and today we're going to look at some essential tools that you should carry when you're riding off-road. As you know, I'm an avid off-road rider as well as riding on the street, and these are some of my essentials that I use riding off-road. Obviously, this is going to be unique to your own situation, where you ride, how far away from civilization you're going to get, multi-day rides, all that. But here's some of the basics I think you ought to have in your tool pouch at least, and then you can add to or subtract for your specific situation. So, as in my other tool video, we're going to start with kind of the most common or the most necessities, down to maybe the least needed but nice to have if you still have room and extra on your bike or in your pack. So let's start off with, I'll start off with this device here. Of course, everybody has a cell phone these days, smartphones, they have GPS and all that. Of course, might not always have service, battery goes down, whatever. A device like this is the Spot, and I know some people know about this. If you don't, it's a GPS locating device, similar to a PLB, personal locating beacon, but a little bit different in that it doesn't register with the Forestry Service or however those work, and those are kind of like, I need a helicopter now kind of things. This has varying degrees. You know, I'll leave a link in the description to this little guy rather than explain it here, but if you do a lot of off-road riding in very remote places, this is a good thing to have, and I'll let you check it out on your own. I highly recommend it. Now, aside from that, the next thing you might want to do is, depending on where you're going and everything, is always have some sort of trail map, the paper kind, because cell phones die, you don't have service everywhere, so maps on your phone or maybe your GPS dies, even if you got a standalone. So the map around the area you're riding would be a good thing to keep along. So you always have some kind of backup. Next down the line is obviously a flashlight. Now, obviously handy if you're stuck in night riding or things like that. But even if you have a breakdown on the trail and you need to look into somewhere along the frame to look for a problem, flashlight's easy to have. Depending on your climate and everything, where you ride and everything, where I ride, thunderstorms can come up unexpected even on a clear day in the mountains and things, but even in the plains. A cheap poncho or something, if you need to seek shelter, this will keep you dry, keep you from getting cold and fatigued and everything in those situations. Also, a very basic first aid kit, something like this. I actually got this free as a premium, and just was handed out from like an insurance company or something. But anyway, antiseptic wipes, there's some antacid tablets, some aspirin, a few band-aids, a little bit of ointments and things, and then I carry a book of matches in here for, you know, if I have to start a fire, signal fire, you never know. Going down the line, the next thing is that you might not think this is more of a safety item, binoculars. Depending on where you ride and things, you may need to see off in the distance to kind of, if you've kind of gotten lost and you have your map, but you need to look ahead. A cheap pair of binoculars can be handy for doing that. Next down the line, obviously, is a knife, and a standalone knife. I'll get to this multi-tool in a second, but a standalone knife, something about this size, you know, you can cut things, you can saw things, you know, kind of use it as a tool, pry, whatever. Lots of uses for a knife. You know, buy yourself a decent quality one, you'll have it forever. Then I mentioned the multi-tool. There's all different brands out there. There's the cheap ones and the expensive ones. I recommend buying one of the cheaper ones, and then if you turned out you use this thing a lot, then go for the more expensive ones, because they are a lot nicer to use if you use it a lot. But, you know, this will get you some basic pliers, cutters, another knife, Phillips head screwdriver, flatheads, other serrated blades, of course a bottle opener, all that kind of stuff. Just a good handy, you know, they're lightweight, usually come in a pouch. Also, electrical tape, good for tying things up. Just if you have like a half roll, small roll like this, is probably all you need to carry on the trail, because you won't use it all the time, but it's nice to have when you need it. Next thing is some sort of compass. I have this whistle thermometer compass thing. It was dirt cheap, but I have used the compass on it, especially with my map, and just I want to know which direction if I get disoriented, sometimes in the mountains, for example, or if you're out in the middle of the plains or something. Sometimes it can be hard to find north just right off the bat. Also the whistle, kind of can signal for help or something. Never used that, but I have used the compass quite a bit, and this is small, lightweight. You could get a standalone compass too to handle that. Alright, moving on to some more tools and things for basic adjustments or kind of repairs. Something like this little screwdriver thing here that it doesn't really ratchet, but it's reversible. Has the bits in the top, the screw in there, folds up compact, throw it in your bag, whatever. Minor little adjustments and things. I got a couple different sizes of things, and really handy for a just basic screwdriver. Obviously, another thing is a tire gauge. This is a low pressure one that only goes to 20 pounds, and because I'm riding off-road, I'm never going to have more than 20 pounds in my tires. So, this is good. See if you need to check them and air them down, and then airing them up, which I'll talk about that a little bit later. Now moving on to some other tools for, let's say you have to take something apart on the trail. Obviously, open end wrenches of some sort. Now, I like these. I mean, and these can be just dirt cheap because you're not going to use them all that much. But I have these ones that have one on the other because they're more compact, obviously. And the sizes, of course, this is going to kind of be necessitated by your bike, but most Japanese and even European bikes, most common sizes you're going to need 10, 12, and a 14. This also has a 17 on there, but probably never going to use that. These actually came out of an old bike's toolkit. I don't know if they supply these in new bikes. Now, if you can't find those, you can buy just a dirt cheap, I mean the cheap of the cheap, set of wrenches in about those sizes. And this is gonna, these all have, have a box end on there. Can be helpful too. You don't need to buy super high quality on this because this is purely emergency tools. So you're probably only going to use them in an emergency. Next, going down the line is, and this again determined by your bike, but the spark plug wrench, whatever fits your bike. There's these kind for generally like water-cooled singles, 2 strokes generally. There's these kind that I really like because they're lightweight. These are harder to find. These came in old bike toolkits and things, and I hoard these things when I find them. You might be wondering, well, how do you use that? Well, that's where a screwdriver like this that has 2 ends, well, you stick it in there and then turn it like that to loosen your spark plug. So a screwdriver thing like this, that's nice because it's compact. Or if you have to carry 2, here you go, and you can do the same thing to use this type of socket. Otherwise, if you can't do that, carry the appropriate regular ratchet type socket, but that means you're going to have a ratchet handle to loosen it, or an adjustable wrench like I have here to get on there and loosen your socket. That's going to be determined by your situation, but you want to have a way to get the spark plug out should you need to change it. We'll get to that in a minute. And then down the line here, this, of course, you can't buy this. I made this myself out of some old denim from my old jeans that were worn out. I have a sewing machine thing, do some basic seamstressing. But I made it to hold my ratchet, hold some sockets. I got a knife in there, a razor knife. My knife comes in and stick in there. A little elastic band that holds my pliers. I do have, for the bikes that require them, Allen keys. Obviously my adjustable wrench in the end. These screwdrivers fit in a pocket here, and so or this screwdriver would fit in that pocket there, and then these wrenches fit in there. But if I have to use these packs of assortment, those fit in there, and then you just roll it up. You got a little bungee, which a small bungee like this can come in handy. Bungee ties around. It's a little pouch. Like I said, I made that. If you're handy, you can make that yourself. They do sell some like this, but I mean, this is purely custom. Purely, I made this myself. Going down the line, a little bit of mechanics wire or something. Little small roll of it, handy for tying things up or making a real bush fix there. And probably the thing I've had to do quite a bit actually over my years and years of riding off-road is a length of fuel line. And this is even more than probably a need, but you know, a length of fuel line, because I've had fuel lines get grabbed by tree limbs and ripped off, or I didn't check my bike out very good and my fuel line was a little bit rotted, maybe cracked, and I didn't notice it, and it cracks and you're stranded on the side of the trail, maybe far away from your pickup or vehicle, and you know, a dollar piece of fuel line is going to get you going again. And that's why having a knife and a cutter to cut this, and then sometimes mechanics wires to make a clamp if like I said, you should buy the correct size, but let's say you're helping a buddy out and it isn't quite the right size, you can kind of make it work to get back to the pickup. Along the lines with spares and things, that comes to spark plugs. I like to carry 2 of whatever the appropriate spark plug that fits the bike I'm riding, for example. And I like to actually carry 2 different heat ranges. The correct heat range that I'm currently running, and then maybe a colder or a hotter one, just because case conditions change and you're fouling out, especially on like a 2-stroke, fouling out because of an incorrect heat range that you were currently running. That can, at least get you back to the pickup kind of thing. And 2 of them just gives you a little bit of options here. Moving along here is obviously some kind of flat repair. I kind of like these stick-on patches. They're kind of for bicycles, but I've used them on motorcycle tubes in a pinch, and they work. No cement. Like I said, even if you don't get it completely these aren't a long-term fix, but even if you don't get them on quite a bit, they'll maybe get you back to your pickup or somewhere if you haven't ruined the tire, obviously. Well, you're going to do that. You're going to need to inflate it. So one of these inflators, CO2 cartridges, you want to maybe carry that. If you have the stick-on ones, there's the traditional patches, and here they are. And of course, you're going to need the little buffer tool to buff the tube, and a little tube of rubber cement to stick those kind on. In light of tires, if I'm going on a long journey, I just take my big tool because I want the leverage. I want to make it easy. I don't have an example of the small tire irons that they do make, and I've never used those small ones, so I don't know how easy they are. But I carry my big ones, and I'm carrying them in a pack, and they're in a saddlebag or something. It's a lot of extra weight, but you know what? It's nice if you really need to change a tire. And that's why when I'm doing those excursions, I do carry an extra tube, mostly for the rear tire. Depends on, I may carry a front too. And then that also goes when we're talking about wheels and tires. That's the axle wrench. And different bikes take different sizes, so companies make these. You can buy the one that's just the size, or you can have, this has 2 different ones, sometimes for the front wheel and the rear wheel. Usually they're a 27 millimeter, but not always. Some of them are 24. So buy the one that's appropriate for your bike. That's a good wrench to have within your toolbox. And really, that's kind of it. I mean, every bike and every kind of situation is going to maybe need to tweak this just a little bit here and there, but this is the stuff I carry when I'm going off-road. When I'm going to a really remote place, I carry all this. If I'm not so remote, closer to the pickup and things, I may cut off some of this tire repair stuff, because if I'm close enough, I could just ride easy on the tire or push the bike or whatever. And then that eliminates some of that I have to. But as you can see, your situation's going to vary. Pick out the tools out of these here that you think work for you. And actually, I'd be interested in the comments below if you tell me the type of tools that you add. You see what I use here, but if you think I'm forgetting something, or you have a neat tool or something that you found helpful, leave a comment in the below. I'd love to hear about it, and maybe somebody else will get a nice tip too. But I appreciate you watching these videos, and I appreciate it if you subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, you hit that little bell next to the subscribe button to get email alerts, because YouTube has changed the way subscriptions work, and you don't always get them right away. So if you want to know exactly when I upload a video, go over and do that. Check out my Facebook page. I'm always posting little pictures in here of other projects or just things I have over there, and you can interact with me there. Twitter, always posting on Twitter of projects and things I'm doing. So till next time, I'm the Junkman, and thanks for watching.